We are on. We're live right now. What's up, guys? I can't even hear myself. It sounds kind of weird because I got the headphones on.
Oh, really? Dude, I
Yeah.
can't even see it. Okay. What's going on, guys? What's up, everybody?
It's JT Lucid.
Straight edge it, man.
Yes, sir. So I got home a little late tonight, and so did Straight Edge. So we're on a later timetable than we'd like to be, but we're here.
Oh, we're here. Dude, I can see you now. What's going on?
What is
Dude, we've
going
been
on?
trying to do this for I'm literally looking at this awkward picture of myself in my phone right now. And, you're just this tiny little box on the bottom. It's great. Dude, I wish I could save this picture just to show you. But, yeah, it's like the worst picture ever. Oh, my God. It's bad.
Oh man.
Oh. And it's like the big screen too. Like the 90% of the screen is this horrible picture of me. Let's get into this Raw review.
All right.
Oh,
Oh wait, there was Raw tonight. Damn.
oh right. Wasn't that like 2 nights ago? 3 nights ago?
So yeah, I guess so. I don't even know when they taped it to be honest. But the show started off with John Cena. Okay, so optimism all over. Yeah, throw him up. Shout out to Bruce Blitz, man. He must have had a good week, and then he gets to see Cena to start off Raw. Shout out to him. He must be feeling awesome. But we got a Cena promo to start out Raw. Straight Edge, did you notice anything about this promo that was similar to any promos of the past from John Cena?
Basically everything. I I feel like that qualifies. It's the typical John Cena promo. Oh, you can boo me all you want to, but I'm still on top.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
still a good guy. I'm still amazing. And
I mean, you can go down the checklist. Did we get booze? Did we get lots of booze?
yeah.
Okay, we got booze. Did we get Cena talking about how great the fans were?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah.
two. Did he say something that he knew everybody would like and everybody would cheer? WrestleMania should be in London. I think that
Yeah.
qualifies. Um,
That
we got him with his little, ooh, it's hot in here, man. I'm such a good actor. Man, I'm still the guy. The champ is
oh that's
here. Everything. Like, oh my God, dude. Can we get something different from this guy?
no. No.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's not happening.
No, but we did. I
But
mean, Cena's gonna put over Wade Barrett because he's in his home country. So that's good.
oh, oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
no, no, I guess he's not
no.
doing that either.
As soon as my dad's not as big of a wrestling fan as like me and you are, or a lot of people. So I've been explaining stuff to him, and he's kind of gotten into it the last few months.
Like, let me ask
And
you a question. Let me ask you a question. How hard is it to explain to somebody that isn't watching how this is?
oh my
It's like
god,
it doesn't make sense
it's
to us, and we watch it, and we try to explain it to others, and we're like, "Wow, that sounds so stupid."
it's something we don't even really believe in, and we're
I know.
explaining it to somebody
We're like,
else.
no, but this guy never loses because he's like the superhero. Wait a second, like
Yeah,
something's not right there.
that's what I explained to my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, it's all just a show, though. I mean, you don't really have to watch it." And I'm like, "Thanks, Dad." You know. But he he kind of gets it, and it's just hilarious. Like his favorite guy is Bad News Barrett, and the whole time during this John Cena promo, I'm like, Barrett's coming out, Barrett's coming out, and he's like, really? You think so? Really? And then it happens. He's like, shit. It's like he gets it. He gets the John Cena thing. So it's terrible. Why they continue to push this untalented jerk is
Oh, but
unbelievable.
he was a Division III center though.
Get you places.
Dude,
Yeah, will get you places.
if there's one position in football that you go, what's the most athletic position to translate into wrestling? Center. Okay? Center?
That's that's it.
Center. Like if you're gonna be a center, be built like Bray Wyatt, you know? You can't be you can't be an athlete if you're a center, you know? Like there are a lot of athletic centers in in the National Football League. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking Division III center, okay? Oh,
Yeah.
oh
But
gosh.
what's what's amazing is I am what, like 6'3",
Yeah, about
220, 230, something like that. And like I played safety in high school football. Like,
what is
I mean,
Cena?
of course that was, a few years ago. But, and I was a lot shorter than I was probably
Yeah,
like 6 foot tall then. But still, like
but Cena's 6'2", 255, you know?
in Division One, John Cena was probably what, 6 foot tall, you know, still an unathletic piece of shit that he is now. And he's the center of the
Dude,
team.
have you
Like
noticed
that's like
when he goes for that the shoulder tackle and he misses, he just drops like a sack of potatoes, dude.
so glad you brought that up. I thought I was the only one that I was like,
And
really, like what kind of lame shit is that?
you
Like,
could hear
oh,
him scream. He was like, "Ah!"
ah!
Oh, shit, that was loud.
Kevin Nash blew his quad. Like it, it's terrible, terrible. But you know, the match. Oh, all right. When I was going on that little rant to you about John Cena, like what was it, 2 weeks ago,
Oh man,
when he
yeah,
buried Ambrose,
yep, on the Raw after
uh,
WrestleMania, I believe.
I might have been drunk, so don't take those words to
I did not.
heart. But but it it pissed me off, yeah.
It
But if there is
sucks.
only one, there's only one good quality John Cena has, and that is to piece together a good match. Like take something that's shit and somehow make it reasonable. And it it never ceases to amaze me, like how he is so unathletic, is so like or non-polarizing, and like a terrible wrestler, but like at the 10-minute mark, there's people chanting, "This is awesome." Maybe
Always.
it's not on Cena, but
Yeah,
knows that like he's not gonna win over the crowd, so try to make this guy look big, but still bury him.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just knows how to grind our gears, us wrestling fans.
Mhm.
There were actual the whole time I'm like, all right, whatever. I almost skipped over because I'm like, well, Cena's gonna win anyways.
The first like
But
three to
when
four
I see,
minutes were so boring.
yeah, then like when I see Barrett hit the bullhammer, I'm like, holy shit! Like, wait a minute. Like I became a little kid. You know what I mean? Like in that little moment, I was like, holy shit! He just defeated Cena because the bullhammer, as terrible as a finishing maneuver it is.
It's
It's
been
still
very
like,
over lately.
yeah, and it's very powerful. Like nobody's kicked out of it. Maybe Ziggler, because Ziggler's amazing. But it's crazy. Like he'll literally kill finishers. You know
Yes,
what I mean? For no reason.
I was just about to bring that up. I wanted to let you finish, but I mean, the bullhammer. We didn't like the bullhammer. Okay, everybody might know this, might not know it, but I mean, the bullhammer wasn't being taken seriously, and it doesn't look very good unless you're really putting everything into it. And lately, they've been having him hit the shit out of his opponents. and it's looked good, and it's fun to watch. And at WrestleMania, he hit about 6 of them in the ladder match, taking every person out. And just 3 weeks later, somebody kicks out of it. Like I don't think they realize what the damage that does, seeing somebody kick out of a devastating finisher.
And on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not even a pay-per-view.
you know,
I have a theory to why people get entertained by these little 10-minute Cena matches. If you'll allow me to put my Sherlock Holmes
get ready. Go
glasses
ahead.
on. Okay, Cena has been built up as the superhero, correct?
Correct. He's Super Cena.
You can probably name on your fingers in the last 10 years clean losses for him on Raw and pay-per-view combined, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What his matches, for the most part, are built off of high-impact moves, not necessarily high-impact, but in the kayfabe world, high-impact moves and false finishes, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have a superhero that never loses, right? And he faces people. Normally, he's facing guys that we want to see pushed. Okay. So
yes.
when you take the combination of a guy that never loses and you put it with a guy you want to see pushed, and you break your childhood kayfabe for because you want to see them win, and you see these false finishes and you know it's not going to happen, but in your subconscious you say, but it's got to, like, somebody's got to beat him, you know? It's almost like the Undertaker streak thing. The reason those matches were so good up until, you know, there's a few of them that, you know, tore down the house, but a lot of those were like the false finishes, the kickouts, and they minimized that into a 10-minute time span where you want to see Cena lose so badly that you trick yourself into believing it's going to end when, you know, the bull hammer comes, the dirty deeds, because Cena never wins a match without taking a finisher. He always has to kick out of it. So there's that false hope in every single Cena match that you're finally going to see the loss for him, and normally it's to a guy that you like, that a lot of people like. You know, I'm not the biggest Wade Barrett fan, but, you know, he's been killing it lately, so I wanted to see him get the victory. It's in London. They know how to play with the fans, because notice how they always bring out the London people when they're in London, but they never push them in London. They always bring them back in London because they like to tease. Note page later in the show. But I think that, I mean, all this stuff with Cena is, he knows how to make a cheap horror movie, you know? He knows how to put every little pop in a certain space, how to maximize the least, you know, the least common denominator in a huge math equation. He nails every little bit. It's scary how down to a science he has 10-minute squash matches. These are squash matches because they have no chance. But he makes these false finishes seem like he's going to lose, and that's where he gets you. That's my theory.
That is a spot-on theory. Props to you. That was amazing.
Thank you,
You laid it out there. I mean, pat yourself on the back. That was awesome. That was great. And, you know, me and Pops were talking about it earlier, and then, you know, I came up with a couple things here that might be considered spoilers. But, you know, number one, this isn't a spoiler. This is just and it's not a joke. Like, I'm for real. Like, WrestleMania 32, book it now. John Cena versus Death. John Cena kicks out. But he's a superhero. He can't lose.
But wait a second. Is it Death voiced by Norm Macdonald?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, can I go as far as saying Death is voiced by Vince McMahon?
Okay.
Because, you know, he can't die either, apparently.
No.
But, you know, what I think is going to happen, and this kind of gets into a non-kayfabe, like the actual real world sense, and a lot of times this spills over into WWE. You can name thousands of things that have happened in the real world that have affected WWE,
Oh, sure.
and characters, the actual character themselves, the people involved in it, go on and on and on.
Definitely.
I'd like to bring up what's going on with Iran and Russia right now,
Okay.
because you obviously see where I'm going with this.
Yep.
For those of you who haven't been following it, the U.S. wants to keep Iran from doing anything with their nuclear program. Russia just said that they would back Iran.
Of course, because
Basically,
Russia basically just does everything that we don't want to happen, you know. They
exactly.
antagonize. They antagonize.
But I feel like if this story becomes any bigger, then Rusev becomes a nobody and he vanishes into the idols of WWE history. Um,
Not unlike many other monsters.
yeah. Look at it this way: Muhammad Hassan, one of the
Oh,
one of great.
he was
Oh
so
my
good.
God, great! He could have
I,
been like the biggest heel ever.
I hated him. He was so good.
Exactly, I hated him too. But in hindsight, looking at it, like this dude could actually work. He had a great physique, which Vince loves, and
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
I need
uh,
Swaggy B with this horrible Vince impersonation. Ah, yeah. It's like, what do you sound like a lawnmower?
he always shakes his head like he's D'Lo Brown.
Oh
Ah,
yeah.
adjust his head. Like, but you know, he was a victim of real life
Yes.
things that were going on at the time. You know, like if for those of you who don't know the Muhammad Hassan story, like he was being pushed as this top heel, was going up against the Undertaker at I think like SummerSlam or something, and was like getting a humongous push.
And SummerSlam is always pushed as this American, like top American thing.
Yeah, yeah, because it's in the dead of summer, it's
Cali.
yeah, usually Cali. So you know, Muhammad Hassan went up against the Undertaker. In the midst of the build-up, there is a bombing in London, and there's also a scene on SmackDown, like a couple days after that had happened, where like Undertaker is kidnapped by these like 5 or 6 masked like scheming guys
Hmm.
by Muhammad as he's like chanting like Arabic chants or whatever, and like they literally cut that off of the SmackDown taping and basically forced retirement upon him because his character was just it was too much at the time.
It was
Like
so
really
well done. It was so real.
so real and so well done. Muhammad Hassan, dude, he could have been the biggest and best heel ever in WWE. No joke.
Especially looking back, you look throughout all these years with the war having continued. I mean, as long as you straddle that line of kayfabe and non-kayfabe and do it tastefully, he could have been, yeah, a monster heel.
Exactly, and he was so good in the ring too. Like looking back at some of his matches, he was really good in the ring.
Hmm.
Like it really, yeah, the character helped, but it really means a lot when like one of your first WrestleMania moments is basically a match with Hulk Hogan at
That
WrestleMania
that
21.
was such a cool moment. Such a cool moment.
For sure. Like as small and minute as it was, and like I said, the character had a lot to do with it, but that's amazing.
And
Like
was it in Hollywood? It was in Hollywood, right? Yeah.
Hollywood.
It was. I wasn't even. I've never been like a super pro American guy or whatever, but it was just so cool seeing Hulk Hogan come in and dispatch of Muhammad Hassan. It was cool.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's cool, and it brings that little kid out in you. You know what I mean? Like, even nowadays, the Muhammad Hassan character could as much as Rusev is kind of like a Muhammad Hassan,
He
he
can't work like
still
him.
Like we still like him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think nowadays we would honestly hate Muhammad Hassan as much as we did when we were kids. Like we would appreciate his ring work, but good God, his character, no, none of it. I don't think any of it.
It's tough to.
Yeah, and it's tough to admit to it. Nowadays, John Cena is so overworked and so like disliked and hated by the masses that you have this anti-American person being cheered and the American hero being booed
That's a
at the
great
grandest
point.
stage in
Great
California.
point. Muhammad
Like,
Hassan would have never been booed or never been cheered. I'm sorry, over another opponent. Never. Even
never.
Cena, when he was starting to get tiresome, back then, still Hassan would have been the clear heel.
Yeah. And it just amazes me because, thinking about this now, it's like, man, if this situation gets any worse, like, what's going to happen to Rusev? Because Rusev is not Muhammad Hassan. He's not that good in the ring. He's decent. He could obviously use a little bit of work, but
Yeah, I wonder.
it's
I wonder how valuable he is to them. I don't know how they
yeah,
see it.
yeah. Do they see him as another Kozlov? Do they see him as something big?
Do they see it? Remember, they were really pushing different role, but similar monster heel type guy. The Masterpiece. They were really pushing him, and then the steroids happened, and he disappeared, and they gave up on him.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like if the situation gets worse, WWE can play their cards right and make it more entertaining and draw in viewers because you know us Americans are gonna want to see this played out, on some kind of screen somewhere. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? So in that sense, you can honestly make people like John Cena, which is what they want, and still not dispose of Rusev, and still make him somewhat valuable to the company. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like it's one thing that we want to see, and they just kind of they'll probably like throw us the boner, as we like to say on this show, and then just take it away. So like, I, I don't know. That's just some thoughts
No, that's a good
on
point.
the Rusev.
Uh-oh. You
Where we're
there?
at.
All
Yeah,
right.
what's up?
Repeat like the last couple sentences there. We lost you for a second.
Oh, really?
Just a
Well,
couple, like literally like 10 seconds. That's all.
I was kind of like mulling over what was next on the
Okay,
Raw show.
sure. It's a good
Uh,
thing you said it because I'm not sure what was next.
I'm really not that sure what was next either. I was just like, what's next? And
Dude,
I
this
guess that
round
was
was just
shit.
forgetful. Oh, this is why. Divas Battle Royal.
Oh yeah. See, once again, they throw us a boner.
Paige.
They throw England a boner. Honestly, I think they did a really good job of it. I don't know what
Oh,
your thoughts are. You
I,
you are
I love it.
Divas division, and I applaud you for it because I don't think anybody else on the show, between me and Swaggy D, really is that invested in it. But you know, it's just to me they're not doing enough with them to make it interesting. But now I think they've thrown us a boner, but I think now,
A big one.
and I mean, if you want to recap it, go ahead and get into some thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the Battle Royal itself was a Divas Battle Royal, as you would imagine it to be. Um,
Right.
the whole rules are you throw them out of the ring. It's not even over the ropes. Um, but really, all there is to say is Paige ended up going over, and the fans were going crazy. She got a huge ovation, and she was interviewed after the break. She was talking about really it was a non-kayfabe interview for the first part, just talking about her fans and how she was born here. By the way, Michael Cole called Norwich, which is such a rookie mistake for a guy that's been there for so long. and they go there
Kill
every
yourself.
year. I mean, Jesus. Oh, and by the way, so what did he have? He had a spinal fracture. 2 weeks. He's back. That makes sense. Okay.
Makes
But and JBL comes back the next Monday, and he goes, "Man, I just had surgery the other day, and I feel great." And he's just smiling like I'm lying to all of you right now. I'm
I just
just
had
I'm a
surgery,
piece of
Michael.
crap.
I hope you're at home getting well after that spinal fracture. You'll be back next week, though.
God, it's like they really posted pictures of him in surgery, and it's like, first of all, if anybody had the surgery and it's believable to kids or whatever, Michael Cole was the one getting flipped around, and if you don't even, he's back at the table just sitting there with no wrap or anything, and JBL, the table gets flipped over, and they show Booker and JBL just lying there, and nothing's on top of them. So
This is the
that,
funniest thing about the whole thing is how, like, they don't give a shit about Booker T. Because if you
yeah,
notice, like, as Brock throws the table over, like, Booker T's under the table. JBL's, like, just off in the corner, like, outside, just laying there, like, knocked out.
Vince McMahon's motto is Black lives don't matter unless they're making me a buck. You know.
That's true.
Uh,
We need you on the show. Give us your thoughts.
yeah, we'll stay away from that area. But so we
I
got
think
Paige. What's that?
I think it's good television on YouTube, if you know what I mean.
It could be. So Paige is talking about how she loves England and this is her house. And all of a sudden, Naomi attacks her from behind, interrupting her when she's asked by Booker, or not Booker T, the little black dipshit, Byron Saxton. Byron Suxton.
Yeah.
I say black dipshit because everybody else is a dipshit that's white. There's not too many black guys in the announce booth. I mean, he's the only black announcer that's not Booker T. They've got like 8 white announcers in training. Um, but yeah, and Naomi attacks, and she puts down a nice little. It's like a Divas rated R beatdown because you don't normally see that from the Divas. So it was cool. I'm excited to see where they go from this. I don't like how it's a love triangle between Naomi, Nikki, and Paige. I just want it to be Paige and Naomi. I know Sasha and Charlotte will be making their way up this year. Charlotte probably sooner rather than later. Um, I I want to make a bold prediction. Uh, I think. Uh, Let me make sure I get this right before I say it. Uh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna. I think Sasha Banks is gonna be champion by WrestleMania on the main roster. That is. Now, part of this is me really wanting to see her be champion, and part of this is they don't go with one diva for a long time. It's really passed around. And how many
That's true.
divas, like how many legit divas are in the title picture? 3. You have another, what, 11 months to go? And so you bump that up to 5 with Charlotte and Sasha. It's probably going to be passed around. Paige is already a 2-time champion. Naomi will get her title reign. Nobody wants to see Nikki there by then. So it's got to be one of the two, right? Charlotte or Sasha. I think they're going to give Sasha the nod because of how much better she is on the mic.
Yeah, I see that. That's a bold prediction, but it's, it's believable. I can yeah, you sold me on that. Like, but what my kind of topic was about this whole like Naomi thing is like you were saying about how Nikki becomes kind of irrelevant. I think that that's like an instant thing. Like once again, me and Pops were talking. Believe me, oh my! Every time they're on, like he's
Glued?
anything else. But like it to me it makes the Bellas irrelevant, and that's good. It shows that they are willing to do things outside the Bellas with the Divas title, which is even better.
Hmm.
because I don't see Paige losing at Extreme Rules. And when that brought me to the story and how much she's like become a bigger star on her own now. Like, there's no reason why we can't have Naomi Page at like freaking Money in the Bank as a Divas title match. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe even sooner than that. Because I mean, what Money in the Bank's in like what June, July, something like that.
Yeah, it's right
I don't.
around
Really,
there.
I don't even know what the next pay-per-view is after Extreme Rules. It's Battleground.
Battleground. Um, it's
Terrible. That sounds like a.
Battleground, Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank's a lot sooner than you think.
It always creeps up on me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, like
it might. Is it after Extreme Rules?
I don't know. It's gonna
No,
creep up on.
I don't think it would be because I think they would space out the Extreme Rules and then ladder stipulation. So Battleground's probably the one in between. But I mean, we're using logic in WWE, you know. So
Logic.
what's
I don't
that,
like that guy.
Hunter?
Have a bit.
Logic sounds like a black wrestler. Get him out of here.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Sounds like a black wrestler. That was great.
Frickin' Vince. I'm inducting him into my Kiss My Ass Club. Get him out here.
Logic. Kiss my ass.
You know Vince misses the Kiss My Ass Club so much.
He does it. He's salivating right now about the Kiss My Ass Club.
Other guys kissing his ass on television.
He probably like
That's-
crank calls. He probably crank calls all the people that have kissed his ass. Like William Regal. Probably
How's
just
my
like,
ass taste?
Regal. Remember that time you kissed my ass? Good times.
Dude,
Things up.
but like, isn't it funny how in any other profession, if a boss got naked and made his employee kiss him on the behind, they would be instantly sued.
Yes. That's hilarious. But yes, that is.
Sued. Because they have no choice. It's in creative. They are required to do that. They can't say no or they'll be fired.
Right. He's in a win-win.
Because if you're
Like-
lucky enough to be inducted into the Kiss My Ass Hall of Fame or Kiss My Ass Club, that means you're a big enough star, you know, to take it. And I don't know, man. I don't know.
Jesus, how can we go from Naomi and Paige to Kiss My Ass? That's amazing. That's just amazing.
Logic. It was Logic.
There we go. But
That guy.
nope. But like I said though, I think it's good because it got me interested right off the bat. And I was like, holy shit, that's cool. Because you actually see a diva beatdown. If you want to call it that.
I think you could call it that.
You see, it just makes the divas more interesting to me. Because I really like Naomi, and I really like Paige. AJ's not there anymore. There's really nobody in that position except for those two.
You know who could throw a wrench into this? Who's
that?
injured? Who's injured right now? Who's coming back? AJ Lee. Does that ring a bell?
I thought she retired.
Tamina Snuka.
Oh, shit. See, I forgot about Snook.
She's coming off injury soon.
What?
She could be another monster heel. I can't see her being a face. She's just not like.
She doesn't have the face to be face.
You said it, not me.
But logic says she'll be a monster heel, but
Maybe she comes out and interrupts something. I don't know. She probably have to take out Paige.
you know what would really make her a monster heel? If she came out to AJ's music. That would make her a monster heel.
She's almost been out so long that like nobody remembers that she was AJ's bodyguard though.
True.
She's been out since last WrestleMania.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
I knew it had been a long time, but damn, that's amazing. I didn't even know. Shit.
I think she tore her ACL. I may be wrong though. I think she tore something, and it wasn't good.
Damn. Papa ever tore an ACL.
Oh my leg.
But I mean, what was next after the Divas thing?
Shit. Dude, I like how we were gonna make this short. we were gonna make this. We can't help it, you know.
You really can't. It's been a while, so you really can't. You really can't. And it doesn't
Oh
help.
wow. Uh, Matt Anglo is with us, and
What's up,
um,
Matt?
he said the injury that Michael Cole that they said he had sustained. I saw something about this. Was the injury that killed Pero Aguayo. Talk about tasteful, right?
But damn,
That's bummy.
that's
That's a mockery.
mm, that stings.
You know, I wonder. I should ask Anthony this. I wonder if their luchadors are buried in their masks, because I would assume that they would like to carry that legacy on.
That's why the mask is such an even bigger thing down there
Yeah,
because a lot of them are. Uh, I mean, obviously, most of them you never see the actual true identity of the person
yeah, it's
because
rare.
they wear it out in public all the time and they never take it off. Um, a lot of them do get buried with it. Um, that's why our buddy in the Lucha Dragons, what was it, Samurai Del Sol?
Kalisto, Samurai del Sol,
What's his? You know the other name. What was his name now?
Kalisto, Kalisto.
Dude's amazing, but Anthony was telling me that like a really really famous wrestler in Mexico like handed his mask down to him,
I remember that.
and the biggest honor you can ever get in wrestling is that right there. So like that to me kind of really put him over to me. Like I was already all about this dude. Like when I saw him like PWG, and then
Hmm.
like you mentioned him in NXT, and I was like, holy
Oh,
Jesus,
dude.
he's actually on
When
the
I first
roster.
saw him, I was so excited.
Dude, I know, man. Like I saw like him and I think it was him and AR Fox versus the
Yes.
Young Bucks in PWG. Like they had that little thing on YouTube, a little what is it, like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
It's just sequence, but the whole match is just amazing. It's just unforgettable, and that's what won me over with him. And of course, like the Ricochet things and whatnot. But this dude, he's got a bright future ahead of him, and I guess we can get into that, the little tag team match with the Ascension.
Yeah.
But
That leads me to wonder, like, WWE's signing all this talent, and like, why did they not? Ricochet was up for grabs, you know, and they didn't even
yeah,
show hardly any interest in him. That shocked me.
yeah, Ricochet, dude, he's
He's the man.
amazing. He's like, I don't know what they're thinking, man. He's probably the most athletic wrestler right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'll go.
Well, Adrian Neville would maybe argue, because he's up there.
Yeah,
His combination
yeah,
of speed and strength is, I mean, it's unbelievable.
fuck yeah. And to be the size that he is and do the things that he does, it's unbelievable.
He's like
But
a he's like a super athletic Chris Benoit. But yeah, continue.
I mean, it's just there's always those guys. I think we can agree on that. There's always those guys that like they're coming up and you see them in indies or something, or you hear about them, you see them, and you're like, oh really? Like they're up for grabs? Like oh shit, they're going to WWE. Like, oh, or it's either oh shit they're going to WWE or oh shit you're going.
Yeah.
But like, there's always those guys that at that level, and then they don't get looked at. Like Kevin Steen was that guy for a little while,
Yeah.
and then finally they give him an offer.
Hmm.
Uh, Punk, they wanted nothing to do with Punk, and he was so good.
Ironically, now he wants nothing to do with them.
Yeah. Um, Another one that comes to mind is Colt Cabana. Like they've never shown him like the slightest interest ever, and he's like amazing. He's really good. But it's there's always those guys.
You remember that story that was shared with us recently that Triple H didn't have any interest in Kurt Angle coming back?
Oh yeah, dude,
That's another thing. You're like, wow, they didn't even want Kurt Angle.
that
And Kurt said that him and Triple H actually got along and they had a good relationship. So maybe there's something we don't know, but it just makes you wonder.
I think time has a lot to do with that.
Hmm.
Um, Him being away from the company as long as he has, the company has changed for the worse, obviously. But like Kurt Angle, you know, you could put him in NXT for sure because it's a lot of indie talent. And indie talents right now are in physical style matches.
Yeah.
So you can throw him in Kurt Angle and be fine. But the top guy in WWE, like Roman Reigns and
Hmm.
all these other guys, with the minus the Brock Lesnar thing at Mania, hasn't really been in a really super physical thing. You know what I mean? So to just throw Kurt Angle in there, who's like this just monster, he is a Brock Lesnar. To just throw him in there and like, dude, people are gonna get hurt. Like, nobody. Because Kurt is a really great wrestler, but what makes him a great wrestler is that like everything he does, you believe. Like every punch he throws, every hold he puts on, you believe it. Like, and he makes you believe it because it's a legit thing. Like, watch him put the ankle lock on Shawn Michaels, and your
Yeah.
ankle.
They know how to turn everything the right way to make it really look painful.
And maybe that relationship with him and Triple H has kind of died off because he's been with the people. Like Triple H always like, and rightfully so in a way, has always kind of felt this like entitlement because he was that guy that like people loved him and tells him like stay the course, got for it in the long run. But he likes to use that to his advantage sometimes, and everybody knows by now why Kurt Angle left, and like it's kind of like, well, oh, Steve and Dwayne got pushed way more than I did, and I still stuck around. Like, you know what I mean? That's just
Yeah. And Triple H, he was never as talented as Kurt Angle.
no, no, and you know, another way of looking at that is just like, well, Triple H isn't as good as Rock, obviously. He was just that guy that. I mean, you really can't compare him because Triple H is on a whole other level than The Rock is and Steve Austin. Like Steve Austin and The Rock are not only polarizing, but they're like super entertaining to watch in the ring. In the ring, still somewhat polarizing, but
Yeah, I'd say he's a polarizing character.
yeah. I mean, when you hear it, like it makes everyone like Motorhead for sure when his music hits. And when you hear that song, that's Triple H, dude. Like it doesn't matter.
He's going to come out and he's going to be legit.
Yeah, you can play that song for anyone, and they know that that's
It's
Triple
time
H.
to play the game.
Yeah, like so. But in Kurt Angle's defense, Kurt Angle was talented. And
Yeah.
here's this guy John Cena who can't do much. You know what I mean? And he's getting the huge push. You know what I mean? And in Triple H's case, Triple H isn't all that great in the ring. He's pretty good, especially at that time. Really good. Wasn't as polarizing as The Rock and Steve, and they were getting the push they deserved. So, I I don't know what could have happened between them, but it's all speculation. But I mean, it's unfortunate because that's one of the matches that I'm dying to see again is Angle and Lesnar, and I've had that on my WrestleMania dream card for a long time, just because of how good it was. Even though the Shooting Star Press was terrible and almost killed Brock Lesnar, it was still awesome. So like, and they had an awesome Iron Man match on SmackDown,
Hmm.
probably the greatest match on SmackDown ever. So it's definitely one I wanted to see again, and I'd end the fences and get him back in WWE, but I don't see it.
Well, they had a great opportunity. His contract was up, mid last year. Um, they had a certain Bulgarian brute that was undefeated and pretty anti-American, and they needed a guy to beat him at WrestleMania apparently, and they chose Cena, that guy. Um, but could you have imagined? I mean, they've in this day and age, it's really hard to keep something secret, but they've done it before. They can do it if they really really want. So they could have had, whatever. It's the WWE. You can write however you want. I'm not going to give you guys a specific one because anybody could come up with a quality one. Rusev, going on this rant, beating everybody, and he's like, there's nobody that can beat me. I'm the ultimate Russian. No American could ever beat me. Nobody's qualified to beat me. And you hear dun 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 dun, dun and freaking Kurt Angle comes out, and he freaking points to the skies with red, white, and blue fireworks going everywhere. I mean, you could have even done an open challenge at WrestleMania and make people think that he wasn't even going to have a match, and then all of a sudden Kurt comes out, because the easiest time to hide things is WrestleMania, because I mean everybody's looking for something, but it's so hard to find it because there's so many things going on. And that
Yeah.
would have been just the coolest surprise in the world to see Kurt come back, beat Rusev, and then on Monday Night Raw say, or after his match, say, I want Brock Lesnar. I want to go straight to the top. I'm back, and I'm going to beat everybody in the way, but I want Brock. And then Brock loses the title in this fashion that Seth Rollins beats him. He says, you know what? It's not even about the title now. I want the best person here, Brock Lesnar. Next WrestleMania, you're mine. All of a sudden, you got Rock Triple H, you got Kurt Angle Lesnar, you got two quality matches for next year's Mania.
Yeah. Um, just think about like if Kurt, because he's a full-time wrestler, hey,
Yeah,
like
shockingly.
think of it as if he was maybe not to the extent of like working shows every week, routinely 5 shows a week, but like, dude, there's so many potential matches you can put Kurt Angle in, and it would be a 5-star match. Like Seth Rollins,
There's so
my
much you could do.
Brock Lesnar would be obviously that's a dream match. Um, honestly, you can say Roman Reigns. I think him and Roman Reigns could do good things because Kurt
Oh,
is that
sure.
good.
He's proved that he can be in a physical match and hold his own.
Right? Um, there's just so many dudes right now that you can throw in with Kurt Angle. Neville, you know what I mean? There's so
Oh my God, that would be
many.
sick.
Dolph Ziggler,
Dolph
uh,
Ziggler.
there's so many guys you can put in with Kurt Angle, and they really dropped the ball on that. And I mean, think of it as another thing. We like to talk about like passing the torch and creating something else, and then making someone else better. Match with Rusev, and Rusev can learn a lot from that.
Dude,
And
here's where people like John Cena elevated him by beating him. That's possible, okay? It's not impossible. But it's possible when you put the guy over during the match. There's a way of putting somebody over without taking the pinfall. Cena does not do that. He no-sells your moves. He hits you with a ridiculous amount of finishers, kicks out of all of yours, and then, he doesn't save anything for you. Everything's there for him to make him look good because he needs all the help he can get. But a guy like Kurt could really elevate you. Eddie Guerrero against Kurt at WrestleMania, Kurt looked incredibly strong because they found an inventive way to have Eddie untie his boots, going, oh shit, my ankle hurts. I hope he doesn't put me in an ankle lock. Ultimate psychology. That Eddie was the man for that. And then Kurt comes in, grabs his ankle. He's putting it on. Eddie's trying to squeeze loose. He rolls him up. Greatest roll-up in the history of the company. Okay, that's a roll-up.
yes, and Kurt is just. I mean, he'll take an L. Like John Cena won't. You know what I mean?
Kurt would happily put over Brock Lesnar, and he wouldn't even have to. I'd be fine with Kurt winning that match.
And it's like John Cena's like, oh, well, oh, Bray Wyatt, oh, you had a match against me at WrestleMania. Oh, that put you over. Really? Because I'm pretty sure Bray Wyatt was more over that whole lead-up than he was at any point in his career. I mean...
It's insane. I mean, Triple H put Batista over for like 3 straight pay-per-views when he was younger. And John goes like 3-0 against Bray.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Big Dave is good. He's great. But I mean, to the extent of Bray Wyatt, I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, yeah.
He was never a good mic worker.
You'd hope. He's probably the best mic worker they've had since Punk. I'll say that. I mean,
They really need to do something with Bray, by the way. I mean,
oh my God. What's next?
Like, MG, Mad Genius, actually had a really good idea of, and I think everybody's had this idea. It's just a matter of how you put it together. But having Bray Wyatt make another stable, except this time have it much bigger, with Harper returning to him. I believe he said Paige. He said, who else was there? I won't even say it because I don't want to get it wrong, but the idea is that create a stable of monster heels led by Bray Wyatt becoming the anti-authority, anti-good type of thing. Which would, I mean, he needs something because he's cutting these promos, and it's so boring because he's not talking to anybody. He's just saying things.
Yeah. And I think that's a good idea, and that's something you can do too. Honestly, I think you can use that tool of Bray Wyatt being this monster that's assembling this force as like a tool to bring up guys from NXT. You can bring up.
There you go. MG said Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Paige, Luke Harper, and Dean Ambrose were his guys.
Perfect stable.
How monstrous would that stable be?
Like we've always talked on this channel about those guys that we love that we're like, what are they doing with them? Where are they going?
Exactly.
They just get thrown into stuff. You can take those guys, make something out of them, and use them correctly, putting them in this stable, and in turn you're making Bray like this
cult leader.
This ministry type. Yeah. New Age ministry. And I mean, I could do wonders. I mean, you could.
And then think of all the matchups that you could stem off of that, with people turning on each other, and Bray and Owens and Luke Harper doesn't have any purpose right now. He's lost. I mean, Dean Ambrose could turn on any one of them because Dean would probably end up going face, and who knows, dude. Lots of
I'd love
potential.
I'd love to see Dean as a heel again though. Like
Yeah.
he was really and I mean that brings us to another point when it comes to heel. Top heel in the business right now isn't even being treated that way in Seth Rollins. And I mean, I wouldn't see him in that kind of stable, but it's always a possibility. He's the guy that sells out apparently. So I mean, it's things, but I think we've seen it a lot in WWE where you have like these tiers of like,
Yeah, there's lots of tiers.
oh yeah, tiers. But like, okay,
Cena, Roman Reigns.
you have like a heel. No, it's like you
Oh, okay.
have heel and face here, heel and face here, heel and
Yeah.
face here, heel and face here. That's the lineup. You know what I mean? It's almost like a match card. And like where you see that stable is probably not the main event. Even though it's amazing and it's great, it's probably not the main event. Just like the ministry was. Yeah, you could say, well, Taker and Rock and Taker and Steve, that was really good and that was a main event type deal, but who did Ministry Taker end up facing in WrestleMania? Big Boss Man? Really? That's yeah, it was an awesome moment, but it's just you, I would almost be afraid of that
Mhm.
because Ray would be just this monster heel that once again isn't in the main event. And I think after wrestling that match against Taker with a broken ankle or whatever it was, sprained ankle, I can't remember.
Yeah, apparently he was in a walking boot up until the match, so it was bad.
Yeah, and I mean, after seeing what they put on with that injury, um,
Quality
it's hard
match.
to event. Like he's got to be in the main event at some point this year. Um, how they build him up will be another thing, but I'd kind of like to see a stable again. Just
Stables are fun, dude. We're missing them right now. There's nobody there.
they are.
The Wyatts are done. The
They,
Shields are done. The Authority. I mean, give me a break. That's not a stable. That's a
that's
that's a hospital bed because they're all old.
that's that's a retirement home.
There you go.
That's really what it is. Uh, it's just
No, it's the WWE's Hall of Fame retirement home. That's what it is.
it's not fun. Like there were times where the authority was cool. Obviously during the Dan O'Brien thing, that's what they're going to be most known for. Um,
And that was because Daniel Bryan's fans were making it loud.
yeah,
That's pretty much
and
it.
that's another topic we could always bring up, but the fans. But I think that's a good direction to go in with Bray is putting him in making him the leader of some kind of like stable.
I mean, it just makes sense. He's a natural leader.
It does, and he's a great talker. It amazes me when he's in the ring because of what he does. I just think I mean, it's one of those things like we've said. I mean, like, what is his goal? What is he out to achieve? What is he doing? With the Undertaker, it was really clear. Um, he was cutting those promos for Money in the Bank, that ladder match. It was very clear that he was after the title and why he was after the title. But I mean, other than that, it's like you, there's really nothing for him. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, he's the new face of fear that we don't really see.
Yeah, what does that mean, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, make us fear you. You know what I mean? Like, make us believe that you are the new face of fear. Make us see like what you're capable of.
Who do
And
you
like
think he's after right now?
that's the question that remains unanswered. I mean,
I just don't see anybody.
because there's so many mashups that are already made. Like Rollins
Yeah,
is
that's the
obviously
thing. Everybody's taken.
yeah, Rollins and Orton, Bryan and Barrett, Ambrose and Harper,
The
Big Show,
IC title is taken up.
yeah, Rusev and Cena. I mean,
Sting's not on TV right now.
only guy, and this might be a thing. This might actually be who he's after.
Luke
And
Harper?
I can't even say that because he could be taken up too. Dolph Ziggler, because yeah, I'm kind of just avoiding the Sheamus thing. He's a guy that you could put against Bray Wyatt and make you be entertained just by the promos because you know that Dolph's gonna come out there and cut those promos of like him always fighting.
Happy go lucky.
Yeah, happy-go-lucky. And then you have Bray become this face of fear, and obviously Dolph is the guy that will do anything to make.
Yeah, he'll sell.
Yeah, you can put Dolph Ziggler on a freaking cross. You know what I mean? If you're Bray Wyatt, you, I mean he's that guy. That's the only reasonable person I can see him going up against right now. Those promos. And obviously they're probably going in the direction of Sheamus, which you know I think we've all agreed, Sheamus is pretty good. We're glad that he's a heel, but not to sound like a whiny, bitchy fan, but it's like, dude, I don't really care about Sheamus. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
make us care
Wanted him
about
to,
you.
huh?
I said make us care about you. You know.
Like, and it is a whiny, bitchy fan thing to say, but like, dude, like, because we have for like the last year, we're like, dude, Sheamus needs to be a heel. He'd be so great. And then like he's a heel, and we're like, meh. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't just bring him back in a. It's not a good time to return right now because Brock just left and the excitement is gone, and there's nothing going on right now. You know, it's just a bunch of uh, I don't even advancement of past and future things. It's not reaching a pinnacle right now. It's here. It's waiting to get ramped up again.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not a lot to bring it back to what it was, too, unless it's Brock, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's where that Bray stable kind of becomes a thing. Because you build that, that's not only entertaining to watch. I mean, dude, you could make Bray Wyatt like his character, like, and I'm not saying like character as in like mannerisms and like whatnot,
I got you.
but you get his character like the Joker in the Dark Knight movie.
Mhm.
Like it's just complete chaos
He
throughout
just
the
does things
whole.
for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you could have, um, let's see,
Hey, straight edge.
what's up?
Go ahead and continue. I'll be right back. Like 10 seconds. I gotta go grab my charger.
Cool. You could just have like build up against, Sheamus or somebody one week on Monday Night Raw. They cuts to, Dean Ambrose taping up his hands, and then like all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt and his followers are there. They jump him. Dean Ambrose is out. You have other things throughout the entire show. Like if you do remember the Ministry, them going to Monday Night Raw is about the Ministry attacking Vince McMahon personally. You do the same thing with Bray Wyatt and make it more entertaining. Because let's face it, a lot of those fans from the '90s aren't really giving a shit about WWE right now. So you can rehash things like that, bring those back up, and make them more relevant again. Yeah, you're gonna have those fans like us that are like, oh well, that's just rehash, but we're gonna appreciate it because it's a different character and you're building and you're doing something with them, and you can always do things to make it different. Like, okay, you can have in that spot with Vince McMahon and that ministry thing, but Roman Reigns by
Ooh, I like that.
you know, it's up to the talent. It would be up to Roman Reigns, but you could make like the Bray Wyatt like kind of not going after, but like playing mind games with Roman Reigns through Roman Reigns' daughter. You know what I mean? Like making things so deep and so like crazy. Like there's so much you can do with Bray because he's so interesting. He's so like I would go as far as to say like yeah, Brock is like huge business for them. Brock's the man, but a valuable guy in WWE right now. There's so much to him. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure you only caught the last part of that, but I mean, what
No,
are your
yeah,
thoughts
yeah.
on Bray?
What are my thoughts on a stable of that type, ministry type thing with Bray?
Yeah, like
I definitely think he could pull it off, man.
I was kind of going on about like how you could do things that are kind of like rehash of the ministry,
Yeah,
but like make them new and make them more relevant to Bray. Because I
yeah.
mean, one of the points I talked about was like '90s. The people who are watching back then, I would obviously know that it's rehash, but just seeing that it's Bray, you know what I mean, and seeing that you're doing something with them would make me interested.
Well, Bray
And
has already noted that he's taking over as, what the Undertaker was. So to steal some of his things from him, nobody should be surprised at this point. And I think I mean, you got Stephanie and Triple H in charge. Keyword Stephanie. I mean, how big of a part of that was she with the ministry? So perfect timing. Who knows how long the Authority, Stephanie, and Triple H will be in charge on TV? So it's now or never, really.
I don't think I think the Authority is honestly I think that the Authority needs a face turn. I know it sounds crazy, but I think they need a face turn, and I think that that face turn should symbolize the end of the Authority. It's like I said, there's nothing really interesting about them anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, what way could you make Seth Rollins a bigger heel? Is by actually not making him a bitch. You know what I mean? You get rid of the Authority, you allow him to do things on his own and make you hate him. He could be like a Randy Orton type heel where you just hate him. You know what I mean? Like, and I see that in Seth. Like, he can be that guy. He can be that like cocky asshole character and play it perfectly and do it well. Make you hate him, but at the same time make you more because he's that already gone and bringing in this Bray movement. Um, I mean, not only are you talking about rating boosts for Monday Night Raw, which means viewers, that means more subscribers because you're going to want to see what he does with pay-per-views. Yeah, more eyeballs on the product, more exposure, which in turn, in the business sense, means more money. You know what I mean? Like, how they don't see this, and maybe they do, maybe they're like kind of reserving it right now, but if they drop the ball on this could be the end. Like, there's no.
And Matt noted that one of the biggest problems with Bray right now is he's not winning feuds and he's not and when he does win, it's not really meaningful. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
a lot of problems with his. I mean, you can say he's being pushed, but like I don't see it. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's nothing to really point at and say that he's getting a push because of this. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And people do. It's like, well, what did he really do? And then the answer is nothing. That's why I think if you're gonna do anything with Bray Wyatt for the rest of his career, you need to start now.
yeah,
Like
have to.
that build up to WrestleMania made people want. Like my buddy at work hasn't watched wrestling in like years. It's been a while. He literally wanted to watch WrestleMania this year because Sting and Bray Wyatt, and he hadn't even seen Bray Wyatt before. He had just seen the promos he was cutting, and then he's going up against Taker, and he's like, "Who's this Bray Wyatt guy?" Watched all of those promos that he cut on Bray, got into Ambrose and all that because of Bray. Like, it's amazing how big of a talent he really is, but he hasn't done anything yet.
No,
So I
his
think if there's time
outside,
to
outside
push
of
him,
Wyatt
it's
family,
now.
he's been irrelevant to be honest.
Yeah, like Wyatt's and Shield is amazing
Yeah,
uh, because the hype was there. You know what I mean? Like
it was well
all of
done.
us, holy shit, this is a war. This isn't a match. Like this
Yeah,
is beyond a match. This is a legit
you
war.
you knew it was a historic moment the second it happened.
You know, and it's that's ever going to be redone. There's no way.
That's tough.
There's no way to find six guys like that again. Um,
And
but
look,
I
look
mean,
how talented the Shield were. I mean, looking back, holy crap. You know, you got
dude,
Roman, who say what you want about Roman. He's built in the top guy form. Dean Ambrose
yeah,
is a beast. Seth Rollins may be like a top three worker in the company, maybe. I mean, they got
yep.
some nice guys in that group.
Luke Harper, another great worker.
Yeah, definitely.
And of
Eric Rowan is
course you got
proving to be a lot better than I thought he was too.
I haven't even seen Rowan at all. Like,
Yeah, not lately.
I mean, where's he at? You know what I mean? Like, what is he doing?
He's
Um,
probably washing every pair of coveralls he has because he's been wearing them the same ones for the past year.
it, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, would he be part of that stable? I mean, I wouldn't think so.
No, just too late. They've messed him up too much.
You know who actually would be an amazing addition to that stable and make us like him? Sheamus. Dude,
That's
can
it.
you imagine Sheamus, like heel Sheamus as like Bray's enforcer?
That'd be very cool.
Like Taker had like Big Daddy V
Mm-hmm.
as like his enforcer dude because he was freaking huge.
That he was.
Yeah, dude, that guy was just Jesus Christ. That guy was a man. Can't even get the word out of my mouth. He's just the mass of humanity,
Yeah.
and like
Um.
that his muscle. You know what I mean? So like make Sheamus that guy for Bray.
So I'm wondering, with Money in the Bank approaching slowly, but approaching, what's your odds? Like the top three, top five guys, kind of ranked in terms of who you think will win, not who you want, but who you think. 1 through 3, 1 through 5, whatever you want to give.
Man,
There's a lot of guys there. Maybe even some
and that's true.
NXT.
And that's so tough too because
I guess should we start with guys that'll probably be in there?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I think you would throw Dean Ambrose back in there one more time.
Yeah, because I mean he's a ladder match guy now
I think Adrian Neville would be in there.
for sure.
I
Dean
think
and
I think
Dolph.
Bray Wyatt would be in there. Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I
So
can
that's
see
four.
Daniel.
Maybe,
So
I
we
don't
have
know. They might be trying to just keep him out of the heavyweight conversation.
really?
I mean, I think he might keep this title for a long time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, just have him hold the title for a long time. Um, so who do we have? We have Dean, Neville, we have
Bray,
Bray,
Dolph,
Dolph.
Sheamus.
Who? Yeah, for sure. Uh, although he's very injury prone when it comes to ladder matches.
Yeah,
Like I think he was in like the last three matches and like got injured in all of them and missed time because of them. Um,
maybe Harper if they're still like, what do we do with him?
yeah. I'd put Sheamus in there, and like I said, I'd throw Barrett in there too.
He missed the last one. He was supposed to be in the last one.
Yeah, why not?
He got hurt.
Let's see. You could
Kofi,
put Cody in there, huh?
Cody and Kofi.
I'd not so much Kofi anymore.
Oh, I mean,
Cause,
he still might. Yeah, the New Day thing kind of screwed him.
yeah,
At least
but I mean with
before, it was like he was Kofi Kingston. I know, no, he wasn't pushed, but he was still Kofi Kingston. Now he's just a guy in New Day.
yeah, it's so irrelevant. Um,
Roman, maybe?
that's what I was just gonna say, but for Money in the Bank, I mean, you have to see Rollins and Roman doing something.
Well,
You know?
I would say it would be very dangerous to give Roman Reigns that victory as well, because people would be very upset.
Not the victory. Well, you
No,
mean
no,
Money?
I mean the Money in the Bank. If he came out with a briefcase, everybody would be going, Jesus Christ,
Oh,
this guy's being given
yeah,
everything.
like that, yeah. But I mean, WWE, they like to play with your emotions that way too. So they probably would put him in that match, just because you have the illusion in your mind, like, well, they already pushed this guy to Mania. What's gonna keep him from bringing down the briefcase? And you're gonna have
Maybe
that moment like at the top of the ladder by himself with the briefcase, and he's like does the John Cena smile, and then
Seth Rollins pushes it over or something.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like they like to play with your emotions, so like they'd probably throw him in there. So I can see Roman.
All right, so amongst all those, obviously not all of them will be in there, but who are your five in order favorites to win that? Starting now. We'll go one at a time, and we'll pick one and one. You can go first.
Starting with the most
Most likely.
reasonable,
Most likely.
most likely.
I think we'll have different opinions on this one.
I'd say for me, number one, Dean Ambrose.
I thought you'd pick Dean. Um,
Yeah, I'm an
I'm
Ambrose guy.
I'm going Bray Wyatt. I think Bray gets that victory.
That's interesting.
So you're number two.
My number two, and this is gonna be kind of weird, but Wade Barrett.
Okay.
I
Do you
mean,
see a title run in his future, maybe?
for them to not give him some kind of title is just beyond stupid. Like he's
He's
super
doing
talented,
well right now. He's really doing well.
and he's hot. I think he's yeah.
I mean, I don't go that way, but I can understand why you'd say that.
Oh no no no. No.
Okay.
There you go.
Um,
Wrong choice of words. Number two.
number two, I would say. I wish I wrote down all these names. uh,
Right?
I would say Sheamus because I
Yeah,
think they're really gonna push this guy.
for sure.
Number three.
My number three, I'm gonna go Sheamus with number three because yeah, I kind of see that too. I kind of see them going with a push, but
Yeah,
I don't know Sheamus in the briefcase. I don't know.
I had to get my surefire heel in there. Um,
Right.
Number three, I would go. I'm hesitant to say Dean because I really don't see them pushing him as a main event guy right now. Um, so I'm gonna go. I don't think they like Luke Harper as much as I do. I don't think Cesaro could make his way into that conversation, but I don't see that either.
Yeah.
I think it's too early for Neville. I go Dolph Ziggler. Yeah.
Either. Interesting. Um, my number four, I'm gonna go with Neville actually, because I think you're already starting to establish him right now.
Mhm.
So by the time he gets Money in the Bank, you could really make a bold statement, and then with him winning that Money in the Bank briefcase, that elevates any NXT guy that automatically comes up to the roster. They're automatically a thing.
That's a
So I think
fantastic point. That's a great point.
like when you bring in Owens eventually, when you bring in Balor, not only is that big in itself, that becomes even bigger because Neville, within his first 3 or 4 months, won the briefcase. So
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree, and that is why my selection, a little off the board, is Finn Balor at number four.
wow, really?
Really. I think he's going to make his way up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean I can see that. I think Owens maybe a little more, maybe a little bit quicker, but
His little injury stuff is they gotta make sure he's all a-okay. So
yeah. But I can't
uh,
wait to see him on the main roster. Oh my God,
number five, I'll go first. Who's the current champion right now?
Rollins.
I think Seth Rollins is my number five. Um,
Really?
they're comparing him to Edge, right? The Ultimate Opportunist.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
feeling like Seth would be the perfect guy to be the two-time back-to-back Money in the Bank champion, or whatever you want to call it, Money in the Bank winner. Um, and if they're going to keep him heel, what better way than to sneak another victory out from under somebody's
That's awesome.
uh, something, something you sneak. I don't know. This isn't Family Feud.
um, that's an amazing point. That's really good. My number five is I'm gonna go with Bray here because
Why
number
so
one,
low?
and I'll get into that. Like, can't really. Number one, I can't really see him with a briefcase. Number two,
Okay, that's a good point. I thought about that and I wasn't sure. I thought maybe he would just not carry it himself and have somebody do it for him.
yeah, you could do that. And number two, like, I, he's just this character that like you can't really see like cashing in. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
because the cash in moment is so high energy and like whatnot, and like when you hear his music hit and he's the Money in the Bank guy, you're like, oh shit! But like
It's a good point. I like
running
that.
Charles Robinson speed at the ring. You know what I mean?
No, but you know
So
what you could do is you could turn the lights out and have him appear. And
there you
dun
go.
dun 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 dun, huh, and then he appears.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden he hits that body lariat, whatever you want to call.
put it that way. But
I just blew your mind.
I mean, another thing too is like,
You don't have
where do you
another
go?
reason. It makes too much sense. I said it makes too much sense. You don't have any objections. It
Right.
makes
But I
perfect
mean,
sense.
where do you go with the briefcase though? You know what
I
I
think he
mean?
wins
Like,
the championship off of take your pick. I don't know.
let's look at it this way. He cuts these mean promos leading up to the Money in the Bank briefcase, wins it, doesn't really do a lot, randomly appears. You could have it where, okay, he builds this monster stable. They do a lot of his dirty work for him. You know, you still don't really see him a lot in the ring. Say he cashes in on Brock Lesnar or somebody. Like, are you really going to build up Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt? That's so unreal and that's just too crazy of a match to really call. You know what I mean? Like, it could happen, yeah. It could be
Oh
good, yeah.
God.
It's gonna be great. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
so I guess another way to put the whole thing is who's going to be champion going into Money in the Bank, or who's going to leave champion.
what'd you say? Who brought this up?
Who's going to leave champion at Money in the Bank then? Do you think?
I think it's
Because
gonna
I
be
guess
Roman.
that would. Do you think so?
No,
Okay.
I think it'll be. I think it's got to be Rollins
Okay.
because after that Royal Rumble, I mean, we all wanted to see Rollins and Lesnar by themselves because you got so much of those two in the ring together. And I think that's a good match. They keep trying to like give us, you know, brute versus brute. You know what I mean? Or try to at least build it that way. You could have Brock versus Cena, Brock versus Roman.
It's Roman. Yeah.
Like a super athletic freak that's like 10 steps ahead of you in the game, like when it comes to, um, logic, that famous word that Vince McMahon doesn't like to use.
Get him out of my
Yeah.
damn office.
Yeah. But like, why
One
not
on
try
one.
to use the master psychologist, you know what I mean, against the brute? That just makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? So like you could build that up as your SummerSlam, have Rollins win at Money in the Bank, perfect. So I think Rollins will walk out.
How does Seth retain against Brock? How do you do that?
That's a thing. Like I don't really know.
It's so hard to book a loss for Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, it really is. But I mean, I don't know how you could do it. Um, and I gotta make another point right after this that has to do with Money in the Bank.
Go
But
ahead.
I don't really know how you could build up like, or not build up, but like make a Rollins win believable. Um,
Well, can I add just one thing in that maybe could happen then in that match?
well, I mean, we can both agree that it would be an amazing exhibition for
Yeah.
sure.
I,
But I
I
mean,
think
what was
I think whoever you're trying to set Lesnar up at WrestleMania with, I think he could screw him. I mean, I think that's the only way really to put
yeah,
Rollins
comes to
over.
doesn't
What's
it?
that? Well, I don't. It's so hard to give Lesnar a clean loss. It doesn't have to be like super dirty, but it's got to be, I don't know, a referee bump. It can't be like perfectly clean because Brock Lesnar is not the type of dude right now that can be pinned by anybody clean, 100%. And just because you're 90% of Brock Lesnar, it doesn't mean you suck, you know?
Right. But I mean, who do you have him against at Mania 32?
Brock?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like they're going Rock Triple H if Rock is available, so I guess that kind of takes that away. Um, boy, maybe Kevin Owens. I mean, I
Okay.
like because the reason I say that is because Kevin Owens is the only other guy that they can push as a monster right now, and that they have shown the willingness to push as a monster. And I know it's just an NXT, but when you have Balor and Neville coming up, showing what they're doing, and then they say, Oh, by the way, this guy has never lost in NXT. He comes up and he goes, I hear you're the baddest dude on the main roster. I'm Kevin Owens. Nice to meet you. Let's have a party at WrestleMania, you and me. 1, 2, 3. Your shoulders on the mat. You're mine. Let's go.
Right. And I think that's the thing that I was saying. I think that
It's another
Neville
monster against monster.
Neville at number 4, I think, becomes like my number 2 right now because like
I think he might. Well, when you put it as like Neville, well, at number 2, I can buy Neville being the other guy at the end of the Money in the Bank match, about to win, and it slips away from him. I think they should push Neville as a semi-top guy right now that just can't get there because he keeps getting screwed out of the top. Show the talent is there, but don't let him. He doesn't deserve to be in the main event yet. He just got here, so just keep pushing him
but I
as
mean
the guy that keeps having it ripped from him.
a thing that has always pissed me off about the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think they can do this with Neville, is one guy wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, he holds on to it forever, he cashes in. Or, one guy wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, he cashes in immediately and wins the title. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that wins the briefcase at Money in the Bank never loses the briefcase ever. Why not put Neville in that match, him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, hold it for like 3 months, gets involved in some kind of storyline, maybe with like Balor or somebody or Owens. He loses the briefcase to that person. They become the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. They hold it for a couple months, and then they cash it in.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying? Or like Neville
Didn't they?
drops the briefcase to said person, and then that said person cashes in immediately.
Did they do that something like that with Edge at one point, or did he win?
Uh,
I feel like he took the briefcase from somebody in some fashion. Or am I off?
like Kennedy, didn't he?
I think so. I
Kennedy.
remember he stole it from somebody.
It was Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah, Kennedy won the briefcase, and
How did he bait him into?
well, in that scenario, Kennedy was fired. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So,
yeah.
like, well, I don't think he was fired, but he was going on some kind of suspension, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
and they just like give the briefcase to Edge. So,
Okay.
um, but I mean, why not do it that way? Because you're not tarnishing the Money in the Bank briefcase. In fact, you're kind of making it more of a thing. Like you're making it more valuable because dude's willing to put it on the line. He just lost it.
Mhm.
Now this guy has a second chance, or maybe he's getting that chance that he didn't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Owens being on the NXT roster by that point, and then him debuting and challenging Neville for the Money in the Bank briefcase, it instantly makes it even more valuable because dude's actually defending it. Number one, the other guy cashed in.
So it's
So
almost like a title in itself.
yeah, it's like a title in itself. And like I said with the Neville and the Money in the Bank briefcase, that makes any NXT guy that comes up to the main roster even bigger. And if you put in Kevin Owens as the guy to take the briefcase off of him and cash in, holy shit, like NXT becomes what they've wanted it to be. Like it becomes Triple H's wet dream right now. You know what I mean? Like it oh man, like that like I said, dude, like any guy that comes from NXT instantly becomes like the top guy because of that. And there's so much top talent in NXT right now that it almost needs to happen
By the
because
way, remember Samoa Joe said that he wants to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So maybe that could happen.
it's good. I'd love to see it. That would be amazing. Once again, there you go to those uneducated fans of pro wrestling. Wins the briefcase, and then you have later on NXT superstar Samoa Joe, or whatever they want to name him, Abdullah the Butcher or something. You know what I mean? Like,
What I don't know what would his name be? Dude, Grits had I forgot what it was, but Grits called him something. He was like, they gonna name Samoa Joe something, and I was just laughing. I forgot what it was now though, but it was so
Grits
funny. Grits is the
he
man.
is so funny, dude. I followed the dude on Twitter. He's amazing. He's
Yes.
hilarious. Um, he's like the Swaggy D of like.
Everything.
I feel like him and Swaggy D, like, that needs to happen.
Dude, Grits would destroy Mike's confidence.
Dude, he would take him down so bad. Like,
Swaggy you would never see Swaggy anymore.
you'd never see him anymore. Like, oh my god, we gotta build his confidence up and like get him on here.
We gotta push Swaggy D.
We gotta push Swaggy D to the moon. Oh my god, he's gonna be the most pushed guy since Bobby Lashley.
MVP?
Huh? MVP.
Most valuable player, Montel Vontavious Porter.
And then I guess we got to get our man's Moose a push as well. Good God. Moose. Fuck yes. Amazing.
All right. Should we head into our last topic?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, our last topic will be a smorgasbord, as they say. So basically, we've got some irrelevant things here, but we had Randy Orton basically being Romanized, Daniel Bryanized. He's the authorities after Orton now, basically. And I won't even. Roman was pretty irrelevant in this episode of Raw, so. But we finally made our way to the fact that Orton said he wants a steel cage match, which you go, oh my god, another freaking steel cage. The steel cage match has been ruined. The new steel cage match sucks. And Seth Rollins, his stipulation is that Randy cannot hit the RKO, which is funny because it's like, okay, well, he can hit the Diamond Cutter. He can hit the standing DDT. He can do a lot of things that are just as high impact as the RKO. But in WWE, it's like, okay, this makes me think, well, they try the punt kick and then he won't hit it. I don't know. Where are they going with this?
I don't know.
Dude, are you excited for it?
Yeah, because it's two guys who I'd love to see in their steel cage match. Like, the possibilities are endless.
This match needs blood.
You take away the RKO, and yeah, it becomes a little more relevant. But we've also been saying this for like the longest time. Dude, the last 5 years, Randy really hasn't done anything character-wise.
Yeah.
What if he unveils a new finisher in this steel cage match?
He does have the new elbow pad, so he may be. I mean, he's got new trunks. So. But what if Randy Orton, the character right now, is really unpredictable, right?
Very.
Maybe he doesn't want the title necessarily. Maybe he's just out to get Seth Rollins, and the voice is in his head while Seth Rollins does a Phoenix Splash off the top of the cage. He stands up and hits the nastiest RKO in the history of the world and says, this match is over, I'm DQ'd, you got 8 concussions, I'm out of here,
Yeah.
He's like, I never even wanted the title, I just wanted to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. I don't care about the title. I just want to get my hands on it.
Then stands him up and hits a whole bunch of RKOs, and oh man.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And now let's go back to reality. And what you think?
Yeah, right.
It's still doing a Phoenix Splash off the top.
Um, it would be amazing, but it would be,
It
dude,
would be incredibly difficult.
so difficult because there's so much more distance. Like you
Yeah.
really have to like, because when you think of the Phoenix Splash, he's basically jumping off the top rope, doing a twist, and then landing on his stomach. So like off the top rope, it's easy for him because he's done it a million times.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
not in
it's a
WWE.
it's a specific
Second,
height. The steel
yeah.
cages are like what, 18 feet, 16 feet?
So when you do it off a steel cage, like you have to like do that same rotation and same motion, but over an extended period of time. So like it's
You have to
kind, it would,
turn really slowly.
yeah. And he's not used to that. So like I don't see that happening. But
Would be sick though.
really sick.
Until he breaks his neck and he has to retire. That wouldn't be
Yeah,
sick
yeah,
at
right,
all.
right. What I could see is like, and this has happened in Ring of Honor with Tyler or whatever. Steel cage match against Jimmy Jacobs. They threw in a lot of weapons in there, so you could have Jimmy beating the weapons, and then
Good luck.
that happen. But I mean, dude, you're looking at Randy Orton, who's like arguably one of the better steel cage guys. And you know, Seth Rollins, who could be elevated to that position. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he's going to be known for ladder stuff because he's athletic. And, um, hell, you give him a steel cage win over Randy Orton, and he'll have, you know, as stupid as it sounds, and as JBL as it sounds, a steel
It's a
cage win over.
flying RKO, Michael. All right,
Yeah,
what?
as JBL as it sounds, or Michael Cole as it sounds, if you give this win to Seth Rollins, he would have a steel cage victory over Randy Orton and John Cena. Boom. So I don't know how they do it, taking away the RKO. I'm gonna go with really see a new finisher from Randy. I mean it. I think it's time. Like
Okay. When you say a new finisher, are you
I
implying that Randy will win? Because that's the only way to truly put over a finisher.
that's tough.
Because if he hits some big move, but he doesn't pin Rollins, for the first time ever, what kind of a finisher is that?
And, ooh, what if we see some kind of weird run-in? Because there's no
From
DQ, right?
the Authority?
No. What if you take this guy, right, who like
Just a random guy?
nuts is being done with them. You give them like a whole high profile guy who they really don't know what they're gonna do with, like Randy Orton, and you just kind of like let them do it, just beat them to each other and see what happens. Bray Wyatt interferes. What if that happens? What if Randy does this amazing big move, slams into the mat, and then it goes all completely dark, and then Bray Wyatt comes out and attacks Randy Orton? And then maybe Seth Rollins becomes part of that stable. Bam!
What if DDP comes in and hits the Diamond Cutter? Fuck the RKO.
Oh shit, he just fucks shit up. DDP comes in. Like,
He's like, you banned the RKO, but son, you can use the Diamond Cutter. I'm giving you permission. And then Seth turns around. He's freaking double Diamond Cutter to Seth for the pin.
oh my god. I guess the next possible outcome is Goldberg coming in, right? And just spearing
Spear,
the shit
spear.
up. Oh god. That'd be terrible.
Sting.
Sting. Dude, I was just thinking about that too.
WCW was a trend with those two guys.
Huh?
I said we went two WCW guys, so Sting coming up was inevitable.
Yeah, right? Um, that's another interesting thing, dude. I didn't even think about that until I thought about Sting. Triple H. Like, what the hell? Hasn't said anything leading up to the Sting thing. He hasn't said anything after he beat him. And now apparently this next Monday Night Raw, he's going to be talking about Tough Enough, but
Yeah.
not talking about Sting.
I think we're supposed to get Sting Triple H at SummerSlam, with Sting going over.
They couldn't just let Sting win at Mania.
I think, okay, I'll defend them in this aspect. They've been trying to do Triple H Rock for like 2 years now, I believe, and Rock's schedule didn't permit last year. Because remember that stare down we got in the back? It was like a year and a half ago, and Rock and Triple H were kind of joking around, and then they got in each other's face, and that was supposed to set up a WrestleMania match, and Rock's schedule got too busy, and he wasn't able to do it. And now it looks like they're trying their best to do a Rock Triple H main event at WrestleMania, probably after a Night of Champions match between Rock, Ronda Rousey, or like segment, some kind of thing with Rock, Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie, and then that'll lead into Rock Triple H being the main event of that storyline.
Okay.
So they wanted it,
So I guess that...
to keep things short, they wanted to keep Triple H relevant as a winner at WrestleMania to pose a legitimate threat to The Rock.
Okay.
I know, it's WWE common sense, but it's still, I get where they were thinking, at least.
I mean, I get it, but, like...
It's still silly. In the grand scheme of things, Sting should be undefeated at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be 0-2 too. He's probably gonna face the Undertaker, and he's gonna lose again. So that doesn't make any sense. He's gonna be 0-2. Why not be 1-1? You know, he doesn't get his WrestleMania moment.
Right. There again, when you talk about that Triple H thing, him trying to build up as a WrestleMania winner, that weird logic comes in and it's like, well, he lost.
He's lost a lot.
9 of 30.
Yeah, he's
You know what I mean?
He's a traditional loser there. And people think of him as a winner at WrestleMania because he's won so many times, but it's like he's had so many matches that he's lost actually more than he's won.
It's crazy. Like, you see Triple H in these build-ups for WrestleMania, and you're like, oh, dude, this, like, what happened? Like, he's amazing at WrestleMania, and then it's like, oh wait,
Yeah,
shit, he
he's like 9-12.
lost a lot of matches. Like, you just completely forget about it. It's crazy.
3 times to Undertaker. That's really why. 3 times.
That's incredible. 3 times. 3 times, dude.
That's incredible.
That's and one Undertaker had a heart attack. So I guess that kind of concludes things, wraps things up.
I think so. We'll probably cover some more stuff moving forward, but I mean, there were some good matches tonight. I'm gonna go back and watch the later matches, Neville, Ziggler, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get this video churned out for all you guys that are waiting.
Thanks for all the support and everything. You guys have really been keeping us going.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Like, subscribe, comment to us. Matt, I'm going to check if you've said anything else before we leave here. We really appreciate it, Matt, hanging out with us, because having people to talk to live and communicate with helps a lot.
Right.
He mentioned...
And getting other people's...
What's that?
Getting other people's opinions and everything, too, as well.
Definitely. He said... Rowan got beat by Wyatt on SmackDown, so I guess Rowan is staying SmackDown relevant. Owens, he thinks Owens wouldn't be a surprise because Triple H is so high on him, of course. And
right.
He says that Triple H told Bill DeMott to leave Owens alone and let Owens do whatever he wants because, and actually thank you for reminding me, Matt, because there was a story that a lot of NXT guys were getting a little jealous of Kevin Owens because they don't give him scripts. They just tell him to do what he wants because Triple H loves his creative control in his head. So I guess Owens is getting some special treatment down in NXT because Triple H trusts him in the ring.
Why the fuck not?
I don't
Like, I
know.
can understand. Pissed off. Because, I mean, let's face it, NXT is a bunch of really, really fucking talented indie wrestlers
Yeah.
who don't feel like they deserve to be there. Like, they look at NXT as like a piece of shit, really. Like, but I mean, dude, no feelings aside, everybody has to realize, like, Owens is like a rare talent, dude.
hmm
Like, good in the ring, amazing in the mic,
I agree. I agree.
whatever.
Um,
Throw on some Kevin Steen right now and watch it.
sounds
I don't know.
good to me. Um, by the way, this recent NXT was they just showed matches, the semifinals and finals, I believe, of the tournament, the NXT tournament leading up to see who would be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And the matches, I can't remember all of them, but Tyler Breeze beat, who was it?
Tommy?
Itami beat Tyler Breeze, I believe. And then, no, I lied. Itami beat Balor. Um,
Really?
who was it? Frickin', who was in the last match? Oh, Neville beat Tyler Breeze. And then Itami beat Neville, and Itami was the winner, and that's why he was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So, two very good matches, and then there's a third for the title match. I actually still haven't watched the third one, so I'm gonna check that out again probably tomorrow because I gotta get up early. But yeah, check that out, guys. NXT was really good. It wasn't its own episode, so I didn't do a review on it, but it was just a rehash of things that happened before, and it was quality matches. So no storylines, just good matches.
So I guess if you want to, we can actually do a video tomorrow. I mean, I don't have to work till 3, so.
I'll see.
Um,
I'll see what time I get off.
right. Uh, give people what they want, I guess, right?
Pop the trunk.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really gonna have to get into this NXT a little more when I start.
Yeah, it's fun. It's tough to because it's Wednesday and it sneaks up on you, and you don't realize when it's on because it's not on TV. But
Right.
yeah, it's rewarding.
Um, I'll have to do some ROH stuff. Dude, shit's going haywire with Ring of Honor right now. Like,
Is that group just taking over?
huh?
Is that new group starting to mess with some stuff?
Yeah. Like,
I
this is
like that.
amazing. Spoiler alert. They cost Red Dragon the tag team titles. And one
Wow.
of the members revealed as Chris Sabin. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, the dude, like, this whole thing, I knew it was going to be a big deal. And it's become an even bigger deal.
So
Like,
young Bucks have the strap now.
no,
Somebody else got it.
yeah. I can't remember who it is now. Oh, it's Daniels and Kazarian. That's who
Okay.
it is. They're the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and then the Kingdom have the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. So, um,
Interesting. Everybody check out Straight Edge Hitman's channel for some unboxings, some ROH from time to time. Uh,
right,
talk to him, support his channel.
right on, dude, right on. Um, we're gonna, I don't know, we should probably do another video soon. I mean, like Wednesday. Wednesday seems reasonable.
That sounds good.
NXT
Yeah,
week, do rumors,
yeah.
get Mike on the show, do some, I guess.
Swaggy D.
Uh, Swaggy D. We gotta get this guy on the show, man.
I know,
Like,
I know, I know.
it's amazing. So, okay, I guess we'll get back with you though. I mean,
Yep.
this is concluding the Raw review.
All right, man. It's what,
Peace.
1:30. Gotta get some sleep. We'll see y'all soon. Hopefully Wednesday. Maybe do a little live broadcast. We'll see you. Thank you for being here, Matt. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers,
Deuces.
buddy.